Breaking news. Gregg Popovich has reportedly suffered from a mild stroke. From what has been reported, he suffered this stroke in, I believe, early November. I'm just looking at the day. It was November 2nd, according to a statement from the team. They're saying this was a mild stroke and that he's in some rehabilitation program and that he's expected to make a full recovery. However, there's no timeline for his return, and they don't even know if he'll even be back this season, but they think next season it's possible that he could come back. What do I have to say about this? I think this is a huge game changer. I'm not rooting, obviously, for Gregg Popovich to, pass away or suffer any horrible things, but I do think his career is pretty much over as a coach. I say as a Spurs fan, I have felt for a while now, the last several years, that the game has passed him by and that he's just he's out of touch. I know some people say like, well, just it's not fair. He lost Tim Duncan, Kawhi, and blah, blah, blah. But I feel he's failed to adjust the last several years to what the NBA is today versus back then. And I've seen a ton of the games he's coached. He's very stubborn. Just he's not willing to let go of his old school methodology. So I think this is pretty much it for him. Granted, I think the Spurs will allow him to come back if he wants to come back as a coach. But you have to wonder mentally if he's going to be there now after suffering this stroke, because I felt prior to the stroke, he really wasn't there anymore with some of his decision making. I felt it was senile, some of the things that he would decide on during the games. But I think this is going to be very, very interesting, especially how the team is run, just with the current coach. I think his name is Mitchell Johnson, or Mitch Johnson as they call him. That's his name. How this team is going to run. So far without Pop, they've had a decent record. I think they're playing close to 500 basketball without him being there. So I'm looking forward to what this guy can do for the Spurs right now, if he can continue to have somewhat the success he's having right now. But I do like seeing him coach only because he's a young coach. He's an interim coach right now, taking Pop's place. And I feel that he has a lot to prove in the sense that he's going to be willing to take risks because he knows his job is not stable. He cannot get comfortable just doing nothing essentially, or not trying new things. And I think that was lacking the last few years with Popovich, that he was so comfortable. He knew that he could never get fired, and he just wasn't willing to take risks and try new things on the court. So I think this will be very, very interesting and I say exciting to watch now as a Spurs fan. Again, I'm not happy that Pop is now taken out, but I will say it will be exciting to see some new things applied out there on the basketball court from this guy who's now in charge. I'm sure Pop will still give him suggestions of what to say, but I think the stuff we're going to see here is going to be more of his influence, as Pop is going to take some time to rehab and recover from what he suffered from right now. So it'll be interesting, but I think this is really the end of the Popovich era in San Antonio. I don't know if he'll ever be able to 100% bounce back from this. I'm sure he'll try. He's a very stubborn guy. He has a lot of pride, but I think this is the end of an era for him. This is just pretty much it. Just he stayed a little bit longer than Tim Duncan did. I remember he would always say that he would retire at the same time as Tim Duncan did, but he never did, obviously. But I do believe he should have. I think he would have been perfect if he had left several years ago, because nothing has really gone right for him and the Spurs since Duncan's retirement. So again, this is not a shot at him that I'm taking, due to his ailment. I hope he gets better. I hope he recovers. But I think this condition will now force him to retire. He'll try to fight it, but I think he is now done. I think this is pretty much the end of his coaching career.